Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is September 8th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. We've got Washington State here, there's British Columbia, we've got Alaska, and we've got the vast Pacific Ocean. And what I want you to look at here is this. You can see the jet stream here on the infrared satellite imagery, at least the clouds associated with it, moving across into the Aleutian Islands. And remember that as we look at the weather models here in a moment. But in the meantime, we've got some thunderstorm activity across the Pacific Northwest this morning, across the Washington Cascades, Oregon Cascades yesterday. Still going to have some of that activity across eastern Oregon and potentially Idaho as we go through the day today. And we'll take a look at the extended forecast as always as we go through the video. So let's scroll back through yesterday, and you can see that thunderstorm activity across the Oregon Cascades. We go through the overnight hours. You see a few lightning strikes there just probably off to the south and east of Mount Rainier. Eastern Oregon continues on overnight, and we go on in towards this morning. You can see the spin in the atmosphere here and that moisture moving back up over the area. Still got a few lightning strikes associated with this activity, and then that'll eventually move out of here by the time we get towards tomorrow. You can also see a lot of smoke out there. Of course, unless you were inside the entire day, you saw it and you probably noticed it, and some dim colors out there in that smoke. But that should be coming to an end as we start to go off in towards this evening for places west. It's going to take longer east, but we do have that next system coming that's really going to help clean our air out. So you can see where we are now, that marine there pushed in towards the Olympic Mountains. There are some clear skies, but of course it's still going to be obscured by some of that smoke. So taking a look at the thunderstorm activity here, eastern Oregon, and again, this lightning strike could be producing some fires. Got some red flag warnings up through about 11 p.m. tonight. And thunderstorm chances as well for some eastern Washington. Lesser amounts, but not too bad across southeast Washington. You might hear some thunder out there as we go through the day today. Gusty winds, little rain, and new ignitions are possible. And when that next system rolls through here midweek, check it out. Spokane National Weather Service all over it. You can see we are going to bring some rain chances even to eastern Washington a bit. Better chances for Spokane versus Moses Lake, as you can see. But yeah, this is kind of marking the change of the seasons coming up here. Now, taking a look at today, the isolated dry thunderstorm potential. The SPC still has this up across the Washington Cascades, and that may have been for very early this morning. Still hasn't updated yet, but I didn't see a lot of thunderstorm activity up there. We'll check the weather models on that here in a moment. But as we go through tomorrow, we start to kick that onshore wind as well, and so we're going to keep that fire threat with some of the gusty winds and dry conditions as we go on in through the day tomorrow, Monday. And again, SPC thunderstorm outlook here. Haven't updated that recently. It doesn't look like actually 9/16 that was updated. So anyway, they still have it for some portions of Washington also. So looking at SeaTac yesterday, 77 degrees, 74 is the average high for this time of year. Nowhere near that record high set back in 1981 of 94 degrees. But if you look down at SeaTac's record high temperatures, once you start getting towards the end of September, I think September 22nd is the last 90-degree reading for SeaTac. We actually had 89 on October 1st, 1987. I remember that one when I was going to middle school there in Seattle. But 90 is the last 90-degree day at SeaTac. All-time record is on September 22nd. So you can see we're starting to knock these record high temperatures down as we start to go on in towards the fall months. Taking a look at lightning flash density potential as we go through the day today, you can see the high resolution rapid refresh does not show much for Washington except for extreme southeast portions and kind of targeting the Blue Mountains here and portions of Idaho as we go on into this evening. Then that system will be moving out of the area. And now taking a look at the smoke, this is vertically integrated smoke. So this is why we were pretty socked in yesterday and you couldn't see much of the sun for most of the day. But as we go through this afternoon and evening, look at these westerlies returning and starting to clear that air out west of the Cascades, pushing it off to the east. It's going to take a little bit longer there, but this is a very welcome sight for, I can't imagine anybody, or I don't know anybody personally that likes it when there's smoke around. So one more look at here in the AM3KM. It is in agreement with the herd. Doesn't show too much. Maybe another shower popping off across the Cascades of Washington, but it shouldn't be too much. Now, I told you to remember that jet stream. Here we're looking at the entire Pacific, or northern Pacific Ocean, I should say. You got Japan to the far left. There's the Hawaiian Islands. Here's Alaska, and there's Washington. This is the view we will be looking at fairly often as we go through the fall months, and we start to get windstorm potential and atmospheric river potential, and even snowstorm potential as we get on into later portions of the fall and winter months. So that is the jet stream that I pointed out there across the Aleutian Islands. And if we watch that energy kind of move towards Pacific Northwest, you see that little kink in the jet jet stream there. That is our system as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday, and that's really going to cool things down across the Pacific Northwest. I mean, it'll still be seasonably nice, but we're not going to be dealing with the lofty heat that we have been. And then that one swings through here, and you'll see we get another trough. Just try to stay with this as we go all the way on in through the following weekend there. And then if we scroll way off into the extended forecast, you see we're looking at 260 hours out. I mean, you can see another ridge building as we start to go towards the end of September. So the warm days are not necessarily over. I mean, summer lasts till September 21st this year, and you still can warm things up. It's only September. It can be quite a warm month. But yeah, you can see some ridging there, and you can kind of see an active jet stream coming off north of Japan across some of the northern Pacific Ocean. Now, taking a look at 850 millibar temperatures, this is the heat we've been dealing with. This is about 5,000 feet in the atmosphere, and you can clearly see that heat axis moving off to the east and back down toward the southwest where it belongs, and the troughing and the cooler temperatures aloft coming for the Pacific Northwest. And you can kind of see that continue on as we go towards next weekend. But then I want to show you the ridging. It starts to show up through the extended forecast. Just kind of a fantasy forecast, but you see the deep troughing over the Gulf of Alaska will help to amplify some ridging potentially across western portions of the USA. Take that with a grain of salt right now, purely a fantasy forecast. Now, looking at 500 millbars, a little bit closer here. There's the start of the onshore flows. We go through the day today, then the next system dropping right down through the Pacific Northwest. We'll look at precipitation amounts here in a moment, but then you can see a reinforcement in the troughing as we go on into the following weekend, perhaps dropping down towards California. Now, taking a look here at the 24-hour, actually, let's do this. I want to back up because I forgot something I want to show you. I want to continue this one on a little bit. You can see troughing swinging through, but then just showing you that fantasy ridge as we start to go towards later portions of September, perhaps returning to the Pacific Northwest. So yeah, just a reminder, we might not be done with the warm days just yet. So taking a look at 24-hour running total precipitation, this is not that wet of a system for places like British Columbia, even western Washington, like Seattle, not getting too much. But you see western Oregon, especially the coastal range and even some of the Willamette Valley, showing up some decent amounts as the better dynamics like flowing down into Oregon. Eastern Washington, kind of, what Moses Lake and Ritzville out there, not too much. But as you get towards Spokane, the Idaho Panhandle, and Montana, it's probably going to be a little bit chilly across some of the higher terrain as this thing swings through as we go through this week coming up. So keep that in the back of your mind. Looking at daily 2-meter max temperature, this is for today. And again, the smoke is going to be wreaking some havoc with these high temperatures. I think we would have got probably up over 80 yesterday had we not had the smoke around for Seattle, for example. It ended up at 77. So if we take a look at tomorrow, Monday, the cool down is coming. Here we go, Tuesday, Wednesday. Look at this. The entire Pacific Northwest is getting Mother Nature's air conditioning fresh off the Pacific Ocean and should bring a dramatic improvement in the air quality across the region. But we still have some of those fires burning, especially across the Oregon Cascades. So if you're in those local areas where that smoke is coming from, you're still going to be dealing with it. Then we go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You see, we're not dealing with those excessively hot temperatures as we go on into the extended forecast. This is something interesting here. This is 30-year normal precipitation for September. And you can see we start to bring some rainfall back into the Pacific Northwest, east of the mountains. Pretty typical here, much lesser precipitation. Now we go to October, and you can see we start to bring the mid-latitude storm track right into the Pacific Northwest, or at least starting of it. And then November, it tends to be the king here, especially Cascades west for the Pacific Northwest. And this is the 30-year period from 1991 to 2020. Giving credit here to the Climate Group, Oregon State University, for these nice maps. And 30-year normal for December, again, as you can imagine, or if you know, you've been living around here for a while, we get plenty of precipitation, usually on average here for places west of the mountains. And here's the 6 to 10 days. See that below average signal as we go through September 17th. There's the above average signal for a lot of the northwest portions of the USA. There's the 8 to 14 day, kind of still that below average signal, a lot of the west coast. And that may be changing, but we'll be watching that on a daily basis, in the 8 to 14 day there. So anyway, yeah, we'll be watching that system coming up here. We'll break this all down again tomorrow. I hope you guys are having a good day otherwise. So click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow. Now we'll talk to you guys then.